I am not the biggest fan of the Toy Story films. I know for a lot of people, particularly of my generation, it's their childhood. They love it. They're really emotionally invested in it. I liked the first film. Wasn't bothered about the second film. I think I've seen the third film all the way through 1.5 times, and both times I've been like, meh. The fourth film, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I think the narrative here is really interesting. Woody feels kind of put out because his new kid has got a new friend. She goes off to, I think, kindergarten, and she makes a toy out of a fork. This character becomes known as Forky. And I think that is a beautiful thing. It's kind of restoring faith in simple play and creative education. It's not an expensive shiny toy. It's a plastic, I assume it's plastic, fork with a bit of pipe cleaner on it. And it's so simple, and yet she loves it. And this toy becomes her best friend. And I love that beautiful innocence. With Woody and Forky and a couple of other toys, we go on this road trip, and along the way we hit various stops and we encounter other toys. And I particularly like that aspect because it gave us a chance to meet some new characters without the characters all just being new toys of that child. I thought it was an interesting way to introduce new things. We also get to spend a bit of time in the park and outdoors, keeping us on our toes as to what's going on, and we meet some old friends there. I won't spoil it in case you haven't seen any of the trailers or anything, but if you have seen it you'll know who I mean. And I think those scenes in particular were really sweet and beautiful, and I didn't know what direction they were going to take, and what I guessed was not what was correct. I do kind of wish at the same time that it stayed in the same places. I'm not the biggest fan of road trip films, even when it's in this animation style. For example, in the first film, when they go to Pizza Planet, or whatever it's called, you can see I'm not that bothered about the original film, and they're in the car. I just didn't like it, and I switched off, and I don't know why. I just have this aversion to films that involve road travel. But anyway, it wouldn't have worked if they'd stayed in the house, but that's just something that I personally would have preferred if they could have made this narrative work while being static. Maybe making the toy shop down the road or something, I'm not sure. But yeah, so we get to see an array of toys, which I think is great. A lot of different kind of styles of toys, toys that have got loving children, toys that are abandoned, toys in various different states of repair, and an army of slappies. Just all these like 6 billion Jimmy Carr dolls racing towards the camera. Really quite a terrifying but wonderful moment. Narrative great, characters interesting, soundtrack, I don't really remember any of the songs. Like if you ask me to hum one of the songs from this, I can't. But if I give it further investigation, I think I'd probably like it, because certainly it didn't feel jarring. I have no complaints about it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Not my favourite film of the year, not my favourite Disney Pixar, but I did really like it, and I think, yeah, it's definitely my favourite of all of the Toy Stories, and the fact that it's much better than I expected makes it even better. Let me know what you think of Toy Story 4 if you've seen it, and more importantly, out of the 4 of them, how would you rank all 4 of them?